I bet most of us can't leave our house without having our phone, or there's not a single day that goes by where you don't check social media and you don't send a single text out to your friends. But according to Pew Research Center, we are like 92% of the teens who are constantly on their mobile devices and are constantly on some type of electronic device. Today I would like to talk about the negative effects of technology on the human mental health and on our physical activity and fitness. So I'm going to start off. So as an individual who lives in this world and grew up with this technological atmosphere, I understand and realize that many of these negative effects take place in my own personal life. Technology has affected our society by changing the way we store information and in our mind and memory and hurting our physical fitness. To start off, I would like to talk about how it has rewired our brains. Technology has several negative effects on our mental health, and reliance on technology enables our ability to remember and retain information. To explain the process of how our brain works is we receive information through some type of sensory memory, either through touch, smell, hearing, vision, any of your five senses. And then it is processed through your short-term memory. And with the short-term memory, it's also called your working memory, where you're constantly receiving information with your sensory memory. And then once it's processed, it goes into your long-term memory. And when it's being processed into your long-term memory, you either get rid of information that is no longer significant. For example, if I just touched this table, I'll eventually forget, maybe in a couple of days, that I touched this table at this specific time. However, if you have some type of connection with some type of memory from your long-term memory, you will be able to remember this type of information. So for example, if I learned in kindergarten that I learned what 2 + 2 meant, I'm going to know today that what 2 + 2 means. But however, this is a problem with technology because internet and social media outlets are constantly feeding us information and overflowing our short-term memory. So it makes it hard for our short-term memory to gain new information and to connect it with our long-term memory. Think of your short-term memory as glass. When you fill it with water, it's going to reach some type of capacity and it's going to overflow. And if we continue with this process of always multitasking and being on social media all the time, then you won't be able to retain information that you learn in school because your working memory is constantly at work. In an article, a study shows millennials are more forgetful than seniors. By showing Emily, she states that people ages 18 to 34 are in fact more likely to forget what the date is compared to those who are 55 years old. And this is a problem because as young people and in this young generation, we should be able to remember information and retain information much more easily than people who are 55 because their brains have decayed more faster than ours. And that's a real problem in our society. And not only does it hurt the way we retain information, but we allow our brains to be replaced with technology and allow technology to think for ourselves. So according to a Harvard magazine, Daniel Wegner, Betsy Sparrow, and Jenny Liu conducted 4 experiments to test the reliance of computers with their brains. 2 out of the 4 experiments, participants were asked to type a collection of readily memorable statements like an ostrich's eye is bigger than your brain, and half of them were told that they were supposed to remember this and that it wouldn't be saved on a computer, and the other half was told that it would be saved on a computer, that they can look back later on. And these participants who were told that they weren't be able to save the information on the computer, they were able to recall these statements more better than the ones who were told that they could be saved on the computer. This only goes to show how great part of our mindset relies on computers and technology overall. We allow our brains to be lazy by using the internet as shortcuts to access information instead of allowing ourselves to retain this information. Not only does it hurt our mental health, but it also hurts our human physical fitness. Humanity's physical fitness is slowly declining due to the use of technology. As a society, we spend a lot of time throughout the day using technology on a computer, on a radio, or some type of electronic device, which is a contributing factor to obesity nowadays. Statistics shows by Statista and reported by Felix Richer says that Americans aged 18 or older or more spend more than 11 hours a day watching TV, listening to a radio, or on some type of electronic device. Out of 16 to 18 hours a day that we are awake, we are wasting away 11 hours every day on some type of electronic device. And that's really shameful to hear because there's so much more to life than just looking on your phone to see what the next Twitter fight is going to be. And these statistics have been contributing factors to our physical fitness and our society and negatively impacting the way we live because it promotes a non-active lifestyle. With technology, there is no physical movement that doesn't challenge our body to meet our physical activity and it affects our health. Exercise is supposed to reduce the risk of several diseases like diabetes and heart disease and allows us to maintain a healthy body weight, and it carries and help us carry the muscles that we have in our body structure. Statistics on obesity in America show that from 1962 to 2006, obesity in adults from 20 to 74 have more than doubled, increasing 13.4% to 13.1%. The average adult weighs more than 26 pounds more than they did in the 1950s. Technology is one of the contributing factors and is a correlation to these statistics in which there's various technological advances. There are several contributing factors to these drastic numbers. However, it is a correlation that these statistics tie in with the various technological advancements, especially with the 20th century, being so advanced in how we use technology and how we rely on it in our everyday lives. Technology is all around us and it can't be escaped. It has influenced a sedentary lifestyle where we just sit on our butts all day doing nothing. By doing it so, it decreases our physical activity daily, and we all recommend the amount of time to exercise is just at least 1 hour a day for at least 5 times a week. Technology and its many uses tend to capture our attention, and we spend hours at a time without even realizing that we have been watching Netflix for 8 hours straight. Technology and its indirect impact the way we live has been growing trend, and it is a major factor to the obesity epidemic and overall laziness of our generation. Technology has several negative influences on our society and has created many bad habits. These influences have significantly affected this generation's mental health by affecting the way our brain stores memory and retains information. It also seems to be a correlating trend with our physical fitness in our society by advocating a sedentary lifestyle and negatively affecting our health. As I mentioned, many negative side effects of technology. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing for our world. It just needs to be limited in our daily lives, and we need to break away from our dependability on it, or else it can be detrimental to our future and future generations. As the saying goes, too much of anything is bad for you.
You can hear it now.
So Jacob, what did you think?
I believe she had a very strong connection that she made with the intro, made me actually listen to how technology was affecting my life, if I was just looking at it from my personal standpoint. The preview was there, but as soon as we got into the first part of your body, I felt like I got lost, and I was still looking for those transitions. And I didn't quite find myself until I caught the physical aspect of your speech, in which you made a very good and apparent transition into that information to how it affects my physical health. And then I didn't really capture, because you had a lot of information. And I thought that your visual was great, I could have used more to easily follow your speech though. You know, you don't need like 5. I would just say like 2 more visuals would have really helped me there follow what kind of information you're throwing at me for a second there. But then we go on to your outro, which really got me into full circle as to what the heck you were talking about. And then I finally understood that, okay, technology is affecting my overall health. It's delaying me from actually developing a good understanding of what the heck I'm doing in life, and it's affecting my recollection and my ability to do things. I should probably do something about that. Thank you for informing me. And overall, I say your speech was great.
All right. I like the opening of the speech also, and I thought for the first half or so of the speech, you did a nice job speaking to the audience and trying to connect with us. When you watch it back, I think you'll pick out a point probably 2 or 3 minutes from the end of the speech when suddenly, I don't know if you looked up and saw the time and realized, you know, I've got a lot to cover still, but suddenly you stopped talking to us and you started reading to us, and it suddenly became, I got to get into this groove and read and get to the next thing, and it felt a lot less natural in the presentation. I like a lot of the information in the speech. I'm going to agree. I thought it was less organized than it sounded like it was going to be at the beginning, but you do have the 2 divisions that are pretty clear, and so I'm going to kind of agree with Jacob on that. I'm also going to agree with him on the visuals. I think that the first one is okay for that opening material on memory. And I was waiting for something that was going to be talking about that second phase on the physical component. I got nothing, you know, bupkis as they say, and so it felt a little bit empty as a consequence. So the one thing ends up being wallpaper for most of the presentation. You have a very brief explanation of it, and then it just sits there for the rest of the time, and then there's nothing else, which makes it more noticeable that there's nothing else because the one thing is still sitting there. All right, I'm trying to leave enough time for us to be able to get in 3 more speakers, so let's see if we can do that. Dane is our next speaker. He's actually scheduled for today, and then we'll hear our make goods. Dane, let's see, Zach is supposed to do the written evaluation, and Noel is supposed to do the oral evaluation.